What's up, everybody? Today we're finally doing a fun review on the 6-liter. We're checking out Turbo Time USA Stage 2 Turbo 64mm compressor wheel. We're getting started right now. Don't forget, guys, 6.0 Bros for 10% off. It used to be 5, it's now 10% off. Turbo Time USA, custom built turbos. That is an affiliate code. There's an affiliate link down below. Check that out. Show those guys a lot of support. They help support us here at the channel. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Helps us out a lot. Okay, guys, so we're going to be talking about the 64mm Stage 2 from the guys at Turbo Time USA. Now, do not compare this directly to everyone's Stage 2. You need to look at the exhaust side and the compressor side, because this will pair differently than some other companies' Stage 2s, just to be as clear and transparent as possible. I love the Stage 2. I think it's one of the best all-around turbos that you can get for your 6-liter Powerstroke. It'll work well with stock injectors with the tune. Maybe not ideal for stock injectors, but it will still work quite well. Do a little pull here. Now I'm running 205 30s with this. I would not recommend that size injector with this turbo. It's a little big of an injector for the turbo. I would recommend a 175 stock would pair perfectly with this injector. I would actually really like that, and I would recommend it for most people. Now, you could do a 175 30, a 190 30 is probably pushing this turbo a little much. Now let's talk boost as we do a nice little pull here. Now, this is not boost off the PCM. This is an aftermarket gauge I installed that reads right through my Edge tuner or Insight monitor. And with this, I've seen as high as 38 PSI. Now, I want to say that I'm not sure what the max that you could see on this safely is. We saw 38, but we do have a lot of fuel pulled out of this tune right now. There's a lot of other factors that also go into this, like we're going to discuss in a second. Because remember, when you have these larger turbos, you're flowing more air at a lower PSI. So for instance, 24 PSI of a factory charger, or excuse me, 24 PSI on this is closer to like 28, 29 PSI on a factory turbocharger. So just to keep in perspective, you're flowing a fair amount more air at a lower boost pressure, which is a good thing. Now again, remind you, I am running larger injectors than what I would recommend with this. It does let me push it much harder. I don't have my exhaust back pressure gauge set up yet, and I don't have my vacuum gauge set up yet to kind of read how these are fully comparing. By the time we review the Stage 2.5, I will have those two things set up. So we'll really be able to review every aspect of this at that time. That's really what I'm looking to eventually do with the turbo reviews. And if we need to, we'll revisit this one. I'm just really excited about the performance of this and how just fast it spools, how smooth it drives. It is just such a nice performing turbo. I really recommend it for most people. Again, you can get away with even a stock injector on this and it really performed quite well. My ideal pick for this would be a 175 stock. I'm a huge fan of that injector. For what you're getting in performance from it, it's amazing. It burns super clean. You don't have high exhaust temps to deal with on this. Or with that setup, I should say. I would really recommend it. Now, I have not towed with this turbo, but I will say this, how fast, the characteristics of it, how fast it spools up, how well it hits boost. And it'll hold boost really well too when you're pulling those grades. It does keep exhaust temps reasonable, even with this much hotter setup than I would recommend for those applications. This by far and wide exceeds the performance that I had with PowerMax turbos in the past, driving and towing, I should say. So I would highly recommend this setup for most people. Let's talk about the sound. Everybody loves the sound. I will say this, the 10 blade is just an amazing sounding turbo. It's got a nice whistle to it. It helps keep your exhaust temps lower too over the 13 blade for you guys running hotter, slightly hotter trucks. I love the 10 blade even for towing, because times I want to push the truck a little more. The 10 blade handles it just better in my opinion. It keeps those exhaust temps down a little lower. You have a little more lag on the very bottom end. You also will lose a little efficiency cruising, but it's so little that it doesn't bother me. What I feel I gain in trying to be able to pull grades and keep speed is vastly more importance to me than the little bit of efficiency I'm giving up with the 10 blade. So that wasn't a full throttle pull. That was just not even probably half. Again, I am running bigger injectors than this. I did see 34 PSI of boost. We don't need to go higher than that. Do another little one here. That was 33.9. And again, notice how clean this is. This is a bigger setup. It is still cleaning up these injectors. This is not a full fuel tune with the 205/30, so it will not do that. Don't try it. You'll destroy a turbo, really. But again, the characteristics of it are just, they're great. I really love this. What do I think you should expect from you guys driving the Stage 2 turbos at home with a proper injector? I wouldn't go bigger than a 175/30 unless you're planning on realizing you need to have fuel pooled to make it run nicely and safely without destroying your turbo. I would recommend a 175 stock, no bigger than 175/30. That's really where this turbo is designed to shine. It will net you low to mid 500 horsepower, depending on what your build is. Probably a little, if you have 175/30s, you're probably going to be in that 530 to 550-ish range, I would imagine. And the turbo is going to live very well there. It's going to be a great combination. My preference would be the 175 stock. So your max horsepower is probably going to be about 520. So 500 to 520 is a really fun truck to drive. It's going to be clean. It's going to be efficient. I've gotten really good fuel economy with 175 stock nozzles. So I know I'm kind of bringing both the turbo review and injector recommendations together, but I think that's important. A lot of guys just talk about the turbo. They don't really talk about what injector is ideal for it. But again, this turbo, it's fantastic. I want to spend some time talking about boost. A lot of people fixate on boost and these trucks. So let's spend a little bit of time talking about it. One of the reasons we're adding a back pressure sensor is because we really want to be able to compare boost to exhaust back pressure, because there's a ratio there you want. Ideal's 1-to-1. You'll see 1-to-1 very seldomly. I don't care whose turbo it is. There is a period, like, when you're getting 1-to-1, you have a good efficiency. You'll notice higher exhaust back pressure as you're getting the turbo spooled up. They come a little bit closer after the fact. This is a great turbo if you're looking for good fuel economy, able to tow max weight, and you're looking for a mild setup that doesn't require a lot of extras. You know, the injector setup can run on a healthy factory hpop and fuel pump. You don't need a regulated return with them. They'll run just fine there. You want to verify fuel pressure. You want to make sure you have a healthy amount of fuel pressure, but you don't really need to deal with it after the fact at that point. Like, it'll hold what you need, which is great if for simplicity's sake and the overall setup. And I do want to spend some time, guys. Do not do larger turbos and larger injectors and keep factory air intake. It begins to lose its efficiency. You create additional vacuum on the turbo. A lot of people have compared various turbos with intakes, and they're like, factory's fine, but I haven't seen anyone really compare when you start pushing things with these bigger injectors. Like a 205/30 like I'm running is a fair amount larger injector. You're looking at somewhere, depending on turbo, 600, 650. You know, if you have a larger turbo, like it would need to be bigger than what I'm running right now. You'd be looking at more like potentially in the future, maybe a stage 3 coming. But you'd be looking at a larger turbo that probably utilizes a GT40 compressor or exhaust side. So there's a lot of stuff that you would kind of need in order to really make that all happen. As far as intakes, guys, I'm going to be doing some reviews. Right now, if you're looking for a good budget option, I'll put links to this. Get one of the cheap intake tubes with an AFE filter. I have an AFE filter set up at home I plan to test this on. I will put links to that. I no longer recommend S&B. I think their filter setup is too restrictive. They've gone too much to really being more of a factory replacement that looks nice, as opposed to being something meant for those of us really pushing our vehicles. And the king is really still the No Limit, a monster filter, monster intake tube. That's really kind of the gold standard as far as I've really seen in the filter or the intake for 6-liter world. They have outperformed other trucks or other intakes, so definitely those are the ones. Affiliate links down in the description below. Of course, don't forget to show Turbo Time USA a lot of love. Those guys have been hugely supportive of the channel. I can't thank them enough for what they've done. I've owed them this review for a long time. I'm excited to get this out there. This is one of the best turbos, in my opinion, that you can really run on this truck. We're gonna get some good exhaust notes here cruising around and kind of send you guys on your way. Anyway, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, drop those comments down below. What turbo are you running? What's your favorite turbo? And what do you want to see from these turbo reviews in the future? We have at least 3 more coming in the next couple of months, hopefully. So stay tuned for those. And again, guys, don't forget, Turbo Time USA, the affiliate link's down there, 10% off. That's a huge sale. Go show those guys a lot of support. I'll see you in the next upload.